Does the same mythological creature's presence in several cultures worldwide prove their existence? After all, if the creature didn't exist, how would so many different groups of people all invent the same thing? If that's true, this supernatural animal has more than enough evidence to prove its existence. The phantom black dog. People throughout Europe and the Americas have given it many names, but the consistency of the detailed description of this creature from those who claim to have seen it for themselves is striking. So what exactly is the phantom black dog, and how dangerous are they? Join us as we cover several documented accounts of this phantom, from old folk tales to today's surprisingly modern sightings. The most famous depiction of the black dog is discovered in modern literature. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes story, The Hound of the Baskervilles. But he certainly didn't invent the creature. The story is set in Dartmoor, a town in Devon, England that is known as one of the key places to find the black dog. There are reports of sightings in the area dating back to at least 1677, and a local legend claims to know the origins of how the hellhounds came to walk the land there. It was because of the terrible behavior of a squire named Richard Cabell, a wealthy man who loved hunting more than anything. Even today, evidence still exists of people describing him as monstrously evil and immoral, and a rumor was going around that he'd sold his soul to the devil. On the eve of his final breath, locals insist this rumor was proven to be true. After he was laid to rest that night, a pack of huge black dogs was heard making strange noises as they walked across the moors. They gathered together around his tomb and howled together all night. Since then, the squire's phantom has been seen on horseback, leading this pack of hounds through the woods on a hunt, his favorite activity when he was alive. The townspeople were so afraid of his specter, and even worse, the huge black dogs that surrounded him, that they built a house around his tomb and even placed a heavy slab on top of his coffin to prevent his spirit from escaping. But none of it worked. His ghost on horseback and the black dogs are still said to be seen sometimes in the woods of Dartmoor. This hellhound pack is far from the only black dogs reportedly found around England. More than 1,000 sightings have been officially recorded, with the earliest dating back to 1127. The reports from the West Country of England list every single attribute associated with black dogs around the world. Even though some of these creatures are not evil and have helped lost travelers get home in the dark and even protected them from danger, the majority describe them as bad omens that cause physical harm, or believe that the dogs are directly associated with the devil. And they can look terrifying. One black dog in Yorkshire appears to be headless. However, locals say that it can be heard barking and howling at night, and if it's seen by a human, they almost always say they saw the headless creature jumping off the side of a bridge into the water. Legend has it that all those who saw it with their own eyes died within the year. No reports of a sighting have been made in the last century, though. These dogs are often associated with mortality, and not just as an omen of it. One town in Cornwall claims that they've been tormented by a pack of these creatures ever since a mining disaster in the 1800s claimed the lives of hundreds of men. Even when they're not there to signal your demise, they are just as capable of causing harm in other ways. The Black Dog of Aylesbury is possibly the most famous. The first person we know who saw it was a farmer. He would go out to a remote field twice a day to milk his cows, and one evening, he was unfortunate enough to spot a gigantic black dog that disappeared in the distance. He was so terrified by it that he always took a friend with him to the field after that night. And it was a good thing he did. When the dog did reappear, this time it was much closer. The farmer bravely grabbed the wooden rod he used to carry his milk pails and lunged at the animal, but the hound vanished into thin air. The farmer fell to the ground. His friend then carried him home and told people what had happened. Unfortunately, the farmer never moved or spoke again. But not all of these dogs can cause harm, and neither are they messengers of the afterlife. Many legends also link them to storms. The Black Dog of Booley, a coastal town, introduces itself with the sound of a chain dragging along the ground, and its arrival always means there's a storm coming. While most of these dogs are more than capable of utterly destroying people, others are linked with the disappearance of animals, as is the situation of the black dog of Lyme Regis who still prowls nearby at night. And if your dog is ever out wandering, there is a good chance that it will simply vanish. Even more of a threat to your dog is the whist hound that haunts Wistman's Wood, where any dog that hears the howling of these hounds will instantly lose its life. So dogs are often kept far from the woods. Others can't hurt you, but are a sure sign that you're about to lose your life. The black dog of Preston's howl always means there will be a fatality in the town. If this headless, shaggy hound is seen lying on the doorstep of a house, there is no mistake that the owner of the home will have passed away by morning. But the areas where those dogs roam seem like the lucky ones. Like the black dog that haunts Luton after lightning strikes, some hounds are also associated with fire. The Black Shuck is one of these fiery hounds. In 1577, it attacked 2 churches near Bungay in one day, destroying 5 people inside that holy place and leaving claw marks in the stone. Normally, churches are safe from demons, so this devilish dog could be more powerful than your average demon, or something else entirely. Locals say his paw prints leave scorch marks on the ground, and you know he's nearby when you smell brimstone. Some reports from all over Britain claim that the dogs have smoke coming from between their teeth, and if they open their mouths, you can see the fires of hell inside. While all these stories come from England, this phenomenon is not restricted only to there. The very first report of a giant phantom black dog dates back to 856 AD, and it comes from France. It was said to appear suddenly inside a non-specified church, despite the doors being closed. The terrified churchgoers all said it seemed like the dog was looking for someone, and as the dog began stalking up the aisle, the candles in the church dimmed, then it simply vanished. But even the USA is not safe either. In Meriden, Connecticut, there is a smaller type of black dog that is said to be an omen of your demise if you happen to meet it 3 times. In Massachusetts, people were tormented by a pack of black creatures in the 1970s. It was so bad that a report from a group of firemen still exists, and while a policeman tracked one down, he was horrified to discover that bullets did not affect this particular hellhound. Long-haul truckers who work on American highways say that if you spot a black dog with glowing red eyes, even in your peripheral vision, you should pull over immediately. It's a sure sign you're about to be in a life-ending crash. Other stories of this devilish dog suggest it follows unsuspecting travelers on the back roads of North Carolina, and one is known to race cars along Route 12 in Delaware, although, luckily, that one appears to be surprisingly harmless. But that just means that people in Delaware are unusually fortunate. After all the legends and sightings chasing each other for centuries, one thing is certain: the phantom black dogs will continue to be part of civilization, real or not, and we may never know what they really are. Is there a black dog where you live? Have you ever seen one? Let us know in the comments, and make sure you click here to watch our last video on other terrifying paranormal phenomena.